In this lesson, we're going to learn how to write an equation from a word problem and then go through the process of solving it. So please make sure you write down, set up your notebook and write down your essential question, or in this case, statement, and then when you're ready to go, then restart the video. Okay, so when we are looking at writing an equation, so one thing that's really important in algebra is we want to make sure we can define the variable. This basically, when we define something, when we give a definition, is we just say what it represents. Say what it represents in the problem. And a lot of times we can find that in the question of the word problem or the last sentence. Okay, so say what it represents. Then we're going to use our words in the equation to write an equation. Once we have our equation, we're going to solve it. And then we're going to state our solution in a sentence, because these are more real-world examples. And so I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about in just a second. So it says the length of a rectangular field is 24 meters. This is 3 meters less than twice the width. Find the width. So our unknown there, what we're looking for is the width. And so I'm going to pick the variable W just because it represents width, but you can use whatever you want. And I'm going to define my variable, and I'm going to say W equals the width. Okay, and now I'm going to use my words from the word problem to translate it. It says the length is 24 meters. This is, so it's referring back to the 24 meters. So we could say 24 is equals 3 less than twice the width. And so remember, we did translating. So this would be 2W minus 3. Now if you wanted to put the equal 24 in the back, you could absolutely do that if that's more comfortable. Okay, so we've defined our variable, we've written our equation, and now we need to solve it. You should know how to solve this easy two-step equation. We're just going to add 3 to both sides. 27 equals 2W. Divide by 2, and we're going to get W equals 13.5, right? Or 13.5. Okay, so we've solved it. Now we're going to state our solution in a sentence, because it wouldn't make sense if we were talking and I just said, oh, W equals 13.5. I mean, if you asked me what is the width of my bedroom, I wouldn't say, oh, W equals 13.5. That would be silly, right? So we're going to say, just very simply, the width is 13.5 meters. Okay? And so we've got our variable defined, we've got our equation written, and we have solved it and gotten our sentence, our solution in a sentence. Okay? Let's look at the next one. The diameter of a small pizza is 16 centimeters. This is 2 centimeters more than 2/5 of the diameter of a large pizza. Find the diameter of the large pizza. Okay, so what's our unknown here? Here it is in the last statement, the diameter of the large pizza. So I'm going to use an L, and we're going to define our variable and say that it means the diameter of the large pizza. Okay, and now let's look at our words and our word problem and see if we can do some translating. It says the diameter of a small is 16 centimeters. This is, so again it's referring back to the 16 centimeters, 2 centimeters more than, so we know more than means to add, 2/5 of the diameter. Of, remember, means to multiply. So we could say 16 equals 2 plus 2/5 L, or whatever variable you chose. We also, if you want to switch this around a little bit, maybe it'd be more comfortable if we switch it around so it looks like that. So that is what our equation would be. Okay, now we're ready to solve it. So I'm going to subtract 2 from both sides. 2/5 L equals 14. Remember to cancel out a fraction coefficient. We multiply by the reciprocal. So I'm going to multiply by 5/2. I can do some reducing, and I get L equals 35. So what's our sentence? The diameter of the large pizza is 35 centimeters. If you don't write your sentence, you're going to lose points. So let's make sure we've got our variable defined, we've got our equation written, and we have our solution with our solution stated in a sentence. All of these things I will expect to see when you do this by yourself. Okay, the next one. The membership fee for joining a camping association is $45. Local campground charges members of the camping association $35 per night for a campsite, and non-members $40 per night for a campsite. After how many nights of camping is the total cost for members, including the membership fee, the same as the total cost for non-members? Okay, so what are we looking for? We're looking for the number of nights. So I'm going to use N for number of nights. We don't know how many nights either people are using, the membership people or the non-membership people. Now this one's a little bit different than the first two because we have two different situations. We want to know when the members are the same as, so equal to, the non-members. That's what we're looking at. When are the two different types of memberships equal to each other? And so let's look at what it costs for members. They pay a membership fee of $45, and then they pay $35 per night. So there's that per to tell us we are multiplying it times our number of nights, plus they have to pay $45, right? Then our non-members, they simply pay $40 per night. So 40 times N. So this is an example where we have an equation with variables on both sides. Okay, so now we're ready to solve. I'm going to go ahead and move my variables to the same side. 45 equals 5N. Divide by 5. N equals 9. And so what does this mean? They will pay the same at 9 nights. The cost will be the same, or we could say the cost will be the same at 9 nights.